Welcome to this episode of Views from the Top, the Armour podcast. I'm Laura Maddison, partner here at Armour, and I lead our data analytics practice. Delighted to be joined here today with Peter Schramme, CEO of Enhesa. Peter, very warm welcome. First of all, thank you for coming on the podcast. Look, you and I know each other pretty well, but for the benefit of the listeners, it'd be great if you could just introduce yourself, your personal background, and importantly, how you became CEO of Enhesa, 6 years or so ago now?
No, first of all, thanks for having me. Let's explain what Enhesa, what the name first means, because a lot of people don't know it.
No, that's true.
Enhesa stands for Environment, Health and Safety. So actually, that is exactly what we do. We provide intelligence, content, guidance around environment, health and safety for big global corporates across a broad spectrum of activities.
Yeah.
So not only in the small kind of definition of the word EHS, but in the broad definition of the word EHS. So we do that towards the big global multinationals, but also the lower end enterprises and sometimes the mid-market as well. And we do that across a lot of verticals.
Yeah.
Pharma, financial services, e-commerce, automotive, you name it. So very multi-sectorial, very global, and we help actually our clients to become good corporate citizens.
Good corporate citizen. Is there like a commercial impact to that? I mean, how does that play out in terms of, I'm a CEO of a business and I'm subscribing to Enhesa, I'm taking your data and your intelligence. What does that mean for me in the real world?
In the real world, it is the following. We help them in their compliance trajectory and journey and in their sustainability journey. Mm-hmm. Let me first try to explain a little bit what compliance and sustainability is all about.
Yes.
Compliance is actually what a multinational or a corporate in general has to do. It's an obligation.
Yeah.
It's a must-have, a must-do. It's not optional.
Yeah.
Sustainability is what they want to do, what they aspire, on top of what they have to do. So much more voluntary, much more over and above. Now, sustainability is typically focused for a corporate on what is material to them, either internally or externally. So when people talk about double materiality, that is what a corporate tries to define what areas are really material to me from an internal perspective or from an external perspective.
Yep.
And they want to go over and beyond what they have to do. So we help multinationals with their compliance aspects, but also with their sustainability aspects. Yeah? So to a certain extent, we help them to be good corporate citizens towards their neighbors, environment, towards their workers and employees, health and safety, towards their consumers, product health and safety, towards their partners, upstream, downstream supply chain. So actually every corporate has a kind of a societal equity.
Yeah.
And we help them to make sure that they don't deplete their societal equity. And that they are good corporate citizens for all the stakeholders they are doing business with.
Presumably that plays into, fines and I guess hard sanctions as well as the softer end of just being a good citizen.
Yes, absolutely. So, and to a certain extent, it touches also the core of what we do. What we do is must do.
Yeah.
No optionality. It is non-strategic, and I will explain.
Yep.
But it is business critical. To a certain extent, Enhesa is an outsourcer.
Yeah.
In the past, everybody was making their own bread. Yeah? And we are outsourcing bread making.
Yeah.
Yeah? It is non-strategic, but it is business critical, bread making. That's exactly what we do. There is no reason, there is no kind of rationale for an organization to do all that themselves. The ROI is pretty clear.
And presumably the risk as well, if you were to do that yourself.
For sure.
The risk of, you being responsible
sure.
for that, you want a third party to validate that, who has the standing, the reputation.
Exactly. Actually, when I talk to corporate people at our clients, there are typically three things that they come up with as being key focus areas.
Yeah.
One is the fear of missing out, not knowing what you don't know.
FOMO.
Yeah, not knowing what you don't know is a pretty important one. Huh?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to wake up in the morning with a kind of the message of a casualty at the other end of the globe.
No, that's not a good
Either a
look. If you're a
physical
CEO
casualty or an environmental casualty.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. So the reputational risk of not having your act together in this area is quite important.
Yeah.
So FOMO is a really important driver. So to a certain extent, the insurance cover of a trusted third party is an important comfort aspect for our clients. And that's certainly what we give them. We give them the assurance that they know upfront what's coming up,
Yeah.
what is relevant and applicable to them, at a quality level, in a timely manner, yeah, and in a way that they can compare and contrast. Because wouldn't it be nice if you are a kind of a corporate person with, for example, facilities across the globe, that you can start comparing and contrasting your different kind of facilities, although they are operating in completely different legal contexts.
Yeah, to have that uniformity.
Yeah,
Standardization.
uniformity, but also a frame
Yeah.
that you can use to understand what's going on and monitor,
Yeah.
but also to bubble up from a corporate reporting perspective, a corporate risk perspective. You can compare your facilities in Brazil with your facilities in South Africa, with your facilities in Vietnam, although they are fundamentally operating in different ecosystems.
Yeah. And then that's interesting. So who are you typically selling into across your clients?
We are typically selling into the corporate functions.
Yeah.
Why? Because our value proposition is maximally resonating when the context is VUCA. VUCA standing for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous.
Yeah.
The more VUCA the world is, the better our proposition resonates.
Yeah.
For that reason, naturally, we are more focusing on the top end of the market, where we that also sell into a corporate persona. But actually, our business model is quite global. We have, as I said, we provide global value, corporate value, but we are locally relevant. And that's also expressed in our organizational setup. If you look at us, we are now an organization of 530 people, more or less.
Big team.
But actually spread across the globe in 9 offices.
Yeah.
In US, in Canada, in Belgium, in UK, in Portugal, in China, and in Japan. So actually, why are we that spread? We are that spread because we want to be locally relevant. We have more than 50 nationalities.
Wow.
Which is a wealth of opportunity.
Yeah.
Why do we do that? Because not only we have to be able to understand the legal ecosystem of our clients, we also want to be able to guide them and to give perspective to the people on the ground. So the local model, selling and providing value at the corporate level,
Yeah.
but being locally relevant and locally present, that kind of combination is really important to us. And it's also a big differentiator for us.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. You know, in a market that is moving so quickly and there is so much change and dynamism, how do you stay front of foot and how do you differentiate yourself? You know, what would you say are the key things that really define?
So that
Enhesa's
local model
differentiation?
is a really important one.
Yep.
Yeah. We are proud of being able to let's say serve our clients wherever they have questions.
Yeah.
In whatever market, whatever kind of jurisdiction, that's important. Global coverage is as well important. We cover nearly the full globe. Why is that important? Because for sure, if your kind of value prop is, Mr. Customer, we help you wherever you operate or in whatever market you sell your products into, if that is the kind of the value prop, then it is our kind of requirement to be able to follow and help our clients wherever they are active. So global coverage is really important. The global business model is really important. And for me, a third one as well is we are actually large enough to cope and small enough to care. We have this kind of the right size.
Yeah.
We are a niche business. We are active in a niche, but I like niches.
Yeah.
Sometimes I refer to the fact that we are a little bit a boring business. Boring in the sense that we are very niche, but very global in the niche, and having that kind of size to be impactful, but also having that size to really, let's say, be focused on your client, to be customer centric, and to care. That kind of combination really gels well and really resonates well.
Yeah, and also it just plays into that mission criticality point. You're saying this is not a nice to have, this
No.
is a must have, right?
Must do is no optionality, so you don't have to create demand. The demand is there and well understood.
Yep.
Yeah. Non-strategic, what do I mean with that? We bring roundtables together of competitors in the same sector. And they are openly talking about what they are doing, what they are not doing, what are best practices, what they have learned. Why are they doing that? Because actually there is no reason why good compliance will add to their market share. I mean, there is no kind of, you won't sell anything more in the market by having your compliance in good shape.
Yeah.
For that reason, everybody wants to learn from each other. It's a non-strategic activity, but business critical. And why is it business critical? Because you can easily have a kind of a right to operate that is cancelled.
Yeah.
Or a product recall, heavy cost. Or a redesign of a product. And that can take millions to redesign a product to comply with a new kind of regulation that is coming in the market overseas. So it's business critical for our clients, especially if they are active in the VUCA world.
Yeah.
But non-strategic and a must-have. Fantastic combination.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting in the current geopolitical environment where, terms like ESG, EHS come under quite a lot of fire, right? You know, particularly from the US dynamic and the whole political scene. I think, to your point, it's refreshing to hear something which, yes, there's a nice to have element on the sustainability side. You want to be progressive, but actually it's this must have and this mission criticality, I think, which is really coming through from what you're saying in terms of, the business and what kind of drives it forward.
Fundamental.
Which means you must play well into this kind of current backdrop where some of those maybe softer parts of compliance or sustainability have come under pressure, maybe budgetary pressure, etc.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yes and no.
Interesting.
Why? Because actually we are not really focused on the aspirational part.
Yeah.
We are mainly focused on the compliance part. And I know in some regions of the world, the compliance agenda is not accelerating. But actually, that's not the point. The point is that we as a business are dependent on change. More regulations or less regulation is change.
Yeah.
You can be, as a business, you can also be over-regulated or have taken too many measures. Going over and beyond where it is not required, which is not an effective compliance agenda. So regulatory change is a problem for our clients, and we help them with regulatory change.
Yeah.
And in some areas, regulatory agenda is going a little bit slower. Some state levels are taking up and are compensating for it. So the change is always there. And you continuously see the kind of the regulatory scope and increasing. Our database, as we have a global coverage, is a pretty good kind of proxy of the regulatory pressure that the multinational feels on their shoulders.
Yeah.
If you now simply look back over the last 4 years, our database doubled in size. So that's a proxy of the regulatory pressure that a multinational active in multiple kind of markets and regions feels.
Yeah, the weight on their shoulders.
Yeah, continuously.
Yeah.
So the regulatory pressure is continuously going up. While another important characteristic is also there, is that the corporate oversight and the corporate risk control is increasing. In the past, compliance was actually pushed down in an organization. 5, 6, 7 years ago, pushed down in an organization. Deal with it. Don't bother me with it, right?
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Make it go away.
Yes, exactly. Now that's not possible anymore. Compliance is at least a C-level agenda topic, if not a board-level agenda topic. Why? Because the digital proliferation actually pushes organizations to be very specific and to follow a very strict compliance agenda. As I said, if something happens due to non-compliance, everybody knows it in a second.
Yeah.
So that drives the reputational risk problem or potential risk. And that is what C-level and certainly also board level people want to avoid. So the corporate oversight is clearly increasing.
Yeah.
And that's also a very interesting kind of topic. That combined with the fact that there is a high propensity to outsource, because why should you do that yourself? The ROI is so clear. That creates a kind of a cocktail, a kind of a context that is quite favorable and delivers quite some tailwind. Yeah.
We couldn't get through a whole podcast without talking about the topic of AI and change. And I think that was a really nice segue, as you mentioned, the kind of the change that's happening across the space. How do you view, I guess, the change that is coming through with AI, and specifically kind of what's the strategy that you're adopting around the business and your go-to-market proposition? Would love to hear a bit more about that.
AI.
Big topic, I know.
With capital A and capital I.
Exactly, indeed.
Actually, I don't think there will be, probably there will not be any business that is not kind of thinking or at least pondering, at least kind of assessing how their industry will be affected, for sure.
I agree. It's on every board.
It's on every board, on every
topic,
mind. That's pretty clear. So also ours, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think we have to make a clear distinction between three kind of aspects. Mm-hmm. The first one is, will AI be a revolution for our business? Mm-hmm. I don't think that AI fundamentally changes the customer demand.
No.
AI doesn't actually change the requirements, the pain.
No.
Yeah? So that means that the market will not be revolutionized. There's not suddenly no market anymore, or half the market, or 10% of the market. The market will be there. It's not impacted by AI. That's important. It will not be a revolution for us. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it will absolutely, and it is absolutely an acceleration aspect. Mm-hmm. So it's an acceleration internally. What do I mean with that? Is AI enables us to be much more effective, much more efficient. Mm-hmm. And I can come back on that in a second. But also, externally, what do I mean with that? We can create now capabilities to make also the end user much more productive, much more efficient, much more effective. So acceleration, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And then in the middle between these two is transformation. Will AI transform the business? I'm absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure. It gives a potential to fundamentally do different things. And that's for me a segue on how we are trying to deal with it. I think we are at the forefront of, or at the leading edge of AI in the regulatory intelligence space. And we are looking at it, I'm not going to go to the nitty-gritty details, so don't be worried. But to a certain extent, we are circling around 3 centers of gravity.
Yep.
I already talked about the acceleration from a margin perspective. Yes, we can do with the same staff, with the same experts. We have experts on our payroll, which is also a big differentiation.
Yeah.
We have everybody on our payroll in the US, in Europe, and in Asia. We can do with these people, with these experts, we can do much more.
Yeah, the power is just...
So margin expansion, pretty clear. And we have done a lot on that front already. Our content factory, intelligence factory, don't say it too loud. People don't like that word. But it is what it is. It is a big machine that creates high-value content on a daily basis, in volume, at scale, in more than 50 languages. That's a factory. And it is set up like a factory. So we have actually an agentic AI setup. It are proprietary AI agents combined with experts in control.
And that's the power, isn't it? You need those two things combined. The two things need
100%.
to coexist.
So when does the magic happen? The magic happen if you combine actually commoditized AI tools and capabilities with proprietary IP, with proprietary data, and with expertise. If you can create that kind of blend, that cocktail, then the magic happens. And that's exactly what we have done at this end of the spectrum, this kind of margin expansion spectrum, end of the spectrum.
Yeah, makes sense.
The other end of the spectrum is actually using AI to get your snowball dynamics further improved. Mm-hmm. And how you say, what a stupid remark is that? But that is all about your ARR, your NRR, your GRR, your VRR. All these kind of parameters are about making sure that your clients are very happy with the platform that they have, with the capabilities that you give, with the way how they can slice and dice and get value from your intelligence. Their AI absolutely helps as well.
Yeah.
That's the other end of the spectrum. Yeah? And then the third center of gravity is somewhere in the middle. And now you say, oh, what can that be? That's for me what I call content differentiation. Mm-hmm. What do I mean is we have fantastic content silos. We already talked about the regulatory content, but it is a silo. We have journalistic content, which is inside, interesting silo.
Yeah.
We have scientific content, interesting silo. We have professional development content, interesting other silo. But these are silos. Now AI can give us the potential to create this kind of soft overlay.
Yeah, to link it all.
Yes, where you can start cross-referencing in a flexible manner all these kind of content silos and unlock the value on the different kind of use cases in the different application domains. Mm-hmm. That's what I call how can we further differentiate with all our content, proprietary content that we have, by linking them together, cross-referencing them, and unlocking them in all the different use cases we have. Fantastic opportunity. So that are the three centers of gravity. Internal productivity, factory productivity,
that's that word again.
The external productivity, and the content differentiation. And we are working on all three, and you see the results happening in front of you.
Yeah, it looks powerful, and it's clearly you've put a lot of thought and time and effort and continuing to put behind it, which makes sense. And I guess maybe stepping back slightly more broadly, as you think about, the 6+ years since you took over as CEO of Enhesa, the kind of the growth, the global expansion you referred to, it's been phenomenal. What would you kind of call out as some of those standout moments or standout decisions, points along the way, and strategic choices you've taken that have kind of led you to where you are today?
Okay. When I started, it was 2019. I still remember, I embarked on 3 kind of investment tracks, and I will explain you why. Mm-hmm. The first one was a track around commercial excellence.
Yeah.
I come to that in a sec. The second one was around automation. I come to that in a second. And the third one was about distribution. Let's take the first one. Mm-hmm. Commercial excellence. Why? If you look at our market, there is so much white space in our market. And to a certain extent, we have a very scalable business. So then it is the professional duty, if you have these two ingredients, then it's a professional duty to optimize your commercial excellence.
Yep.
First, investment track. And it's never done, by the way.
No, of course. There's always more.
Never done. Second track is around automation.
Yeah.
When I joined, actually everything was done manually. I'm an engineer by education, sorry for my handicap. But that means that you say, hey, this is not the way how it should be done.
Yeah.
So we started on a big investment track to drive automation. Not for the sake of automation, but for the sake of efficiency and effectiveness. You cannot grow if you are hindered and blocked by an aspect that doesn't scale. Yeah. So for that reason, we established this kind of factory concept. So actually, the whole agentic AI setup
it's kind of
started there,
yeah.
right? The third one is around distribution platform. It is so important that you can provide the intelligence in the way that your clients, which are sometimes the most innovative multinationals globally, how they want to consume it. And for that reason, we had to re-embark on a complete overhaul of our distribution platform. How do we distribute? How do we provide and fulfill our content to our clients? Big track. Because, again, the growth in the business cannot be hindered by your platform of distribution. So 3 important investment tracks. When that was well established, I started on another strand. And I started on becoming a multi-trick pony. Before we were a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
We could do one thing very well. One thing, right?
Yeah.
One trick. But that's not enough. So we started embarking from our original capability, which was providing regulatory intelligence around the facilities of our clients. We started embarking on additional landing strips. I called it landing strips. The second landing strip was around product compliance and sustainability. That is, all these multinationals not only produce something, they also put their products into the market.
Yeah.
These products have to comply with regulations in the markets they are placed into.
Seems a very natural
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
I said we are boring. Here, exactly the same there. Right?
Yeah.
And then we expanded on sustainable chemistry. All these multinationals and all these big organizations use chemicals internally and in their products. More and more these kind of chemicals are being kind of regulated, are being scrutinized. Look at the PFAS kind of hype. Can be very expensive. Again, a VUCA world. So we helped them on that front. And then the fourth one was around corporate sustainability. Because all these kind of multinationals have a number of legal entities globally.
Yeah.
All these legal entities have to comply with corporate sustainability obligations. But do you know what it all is if you have 600 legal entities? So these kind of 4 landing strips actually use our content factory completely. And are very relevant for our target market and our target accounts. So we created what I call multiplicative TAM expansion. We not simply added TAM, we added capabilities which are already relevant for our installed base. So it multiplies.
Yeah, hugely synergistic.
Yeah. So from a one-trick pony to a multi-trick pony, right?
Yeah.
And then your question can then also be, but what next?
Yeah.
Okay, without telling any secret, I think it is pretty clear what we're going to do next. And for me, again, 3 kind of cohorts. Yeah, I can only count to 3, by the way.
It's a good number. Good number.
Simple. Let's make it simple. First one is grow the core.
Yep.
There is still so much white space, so much potential with what we have now, and now also with the latest acquisition, also safety data sheets now part of our core.
Yeah.
Grow the core. Yeah. It's focusing about double downing on what we just discussed a few minutes ago, about double downing on AI, double downing on commercial excellence, double downing on scale. Further double downing on that. Grow the core.
Makes sense.
Secondly, grow within the core. Actually, our kind of buyer personas with which and with whom we deal, they have other needs as well.
Yeah.
What can we do more to create value for our existing current buyer persona? There are many things we can do. That's grow within the core.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third element is grow beyond the core. What can we do with our key assets, with our superpowers that we have in our business? Mm-hmm. What can we do for other personas within these kind of corporates? There are other buyer personas with needs that we can serve with our superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah? What are they? How can we embark on that? So grow the core, grow within the core, grow beyond the core. And we are doing that kind of mapping, more or less on a quarterly basis, and are continuously trying to define our journey towards the goal that we want to further
reach. Which I'm sure is kind of never ending, constantly.
But that's also moving. The beauty, right?
Yeah, it keeps it fun. And
the
exciting.
joy is in the journey; it's not in the destination, right?
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. You just touched on a theme there about mentioned your most recent acquisition. You know, I think was really particularly impressive the acquisitions you've made. Often, in the US, other geos. Right. How have you identified and managed to unlock some of those acquisitions in what has been a very competitive M&A environment? What's been, I guess, the secret sauce to as much as you can share with us, but just a little bit on that whole M&A plan and track record, and then how you see that playing into the future as well.
Yes. No, a good question. Although it will be a simple answer. Unfortunately, we don't have a corporate development function.
Really?
No. We had.
So your weekends and evenings, is it?
Exactly. We had one, but we stopped it. So yes, it's more or less kind of between 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
But it's also a joy. And for me, it's all based on being externally focused. Listen, observe, talk, engage, and try to be outward bound. And then you understand, and then you feel, and then you explore. And actually, some of the best acquisitions, not the best, but some of the best acquisitions we did were actually founder-based acquisitions. Yeah. And that's a completely different dynamic, but the dynamic I very much like.
Well, also, and it's probably where having that personal piece rather than the corporate development team, and it's you having those conversations, that must feel much more real for that founder, much more kind of, you're bringing them on the platform, what you can do together.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what founders really like, because they have built up during a long time a kind of a great asset. Huh?
Yeah.
They want a good home for their asset. Yeah. And you have to show and convince them that you are probably the best home for their asset, and how it kind of will further flourish and how it will further grow. So, but it's a long journey.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. And some of my acquisitions there took me 2 to 3 years. But that's fine. That's nice. That's actually a very engaged way of acquiring businesses. And I have to say, big fun.
Yeah, and presumably you see them, therefore M&A being an important part of the kind of future plan for you guys as well.
Yes, but also organically. I think, and I talked about our superpowers. I think we can do with our superpowers a lot more than what we do now. And that's also the culture that I want to instill.
Yeah.
The culture of not being complacent.
No, for sure.
Complacency is the genesis of all the things you don't want. Kind of make sure that you challenge the status quo. never be happy with how you are doing things now. Disrupt yourself.
Yeah.
I try to do it personally as well. And create a kind of a fast pace. When I joined, it was a kind of a sailboat. And I tried to convert it into a speedboat.
Yeah.
So we are really living on the fast lane, as they say in the US. But that's also the kind of the cultural shift that is important and underpins everything. So yes, non-organically is a part of our further trajectory, but also organically. It cannot be the one only or the other only. I think the combination creates a lot of optionality and a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And we have actually done it, I think, pretty well in the past by creating very strategic kind of acquisitions that really creates a strategic premium. And that's exactly what I want to do further as well in the future. Not acquisitions for the sake of acquisitions.
No, I think that's really important.
It must be kind of a strategic rationale behind it. A real industrial project behind it. And then being able to mold it into a kind of a one Enhesa capability and story and platform towards the clients. Is a nice journey. Yes.
Yeah, and look, we're touching this, I guess, a bit as we've gone through, but just perhaps more on a personal note, what really excites you for the future? Obviously, you've had a really active and busy 6 years. Sounds like achieved a hell of a lot in terms of the growth organically through M&A, etc. What is the thing which really excites you going forward?
First of all, what excites me now and what excites me in the future, probably two different things. What excites me now is, and I know, I'm a long time in the business already, but I've never worked in a purposeful business. It's nice. it's nice.
You sound surprised.
Waking up in the morning, saying that, hey, I'm going to further help to make the world a little bit a better place. Can you imagine that a lot of our people are working for Enhesa because they want to make the world a better place? That's such a joy.
Yeah.
Such a kind of a strong ingredient for a strong culture.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that absolutely excites me, right? This is the first time in my long career that I'm working in a purposeful business. So that's great.
Yeah.
And that with young talent, with very multicultural, very diverse, very driven. That's fantastic. And then what really also is important to understand for me, and that really drives me, is that sometimes I call it making pottery. Have you made pottery once?
Well, maybe when I was little.
Okay.
Maybe many years ago.
I've never done it, but the concept is quite nice. Because making pottery is you shape it while it spins.
It's true. It's very true.
And you start pushing, so that you have a shape in mind, and you start pushing so that you evolve towards the shape you have in mind. But you may not push too hard because then it breaks. So you have to sometimes course correct.
It's a good analogy. I've not heard it described as
I
before.
like making pottery. And having a kind of a shape in mind and working with a team of talented people across the globe who are really driven, who are kind of inspired by this kind of purposeful background.
Yeah.
And then making pottery together. That's nice. Nice.
That's a good analogy. I'll take that one for the future.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you, Peter. Thank you for such an engaging conversation. That's been brilliant. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Views from the Top with Laura Maddison and Peter Schramme, and look forward to the next episode coming soon.